Hi,
Hello.
and welcome to our new cartoon-related podcast.
Yes, you probably didn't even know about the older one.
This one is called Cartoon Cast because we're slightly shorter.
Yes, that is our new slogan from now on because we are dumb.
No, we're not dumb. We're shorter.
Yes, exactly. What he said.
Anyways, for first of all, before we begin, we should probably introduce ourselves.
We, usernames or real names? Does it matter? Doesn't matter.
We usually call ourselves by our usernames anyways.
Yeah. I'm Rabid. Or Rabid Sonic Fan or whatever. Rabid.
Rib. I am Mont Henry Nitley is my full username. Try to go spell that, you will not be able to. Try to go pronounce it when it's read when you're reading it, and you will not be able to. But
I've been like the only person who's able to for some reason.
yeah, I know. Like every single other person who's tried to say it, they always say Mont Henry Knightley.
It's like it's knit. It's knit. Do you see a G or an H in there? No, that's how you spell knit.
I mean, seriously. But anyways, you can call me Mont or Monty, as some people like to, or like Henry, as one person has ever called me Henry. But most everybody calls me Mont. Mont. So. You are not in a very good company, folks.
Yes.
But, let's get to brass tacks. Whatever that means, I forget what that means, actually.
Let's get down to business.
Oh, yeah, that. This is going to be a podcast, as you could probably already guess, for cartoons and animation in general. You see, Rabbit and I are rather avid animation buffs.
Yeah.
And we like to go watch cartoons. We love Disney. We love Cartoon Network. We love what have you.
What have you?
We have our own specific niches. Like I prefer anime over more. I prefer anime more than he does. Though we both prefer Western animation mostly, so that's what we'll be talking about. Although I'm sure we will have like a couple episodes about anime.
Yeah,
Sure.
probably.
I would like an episode about Studio Ghibli eventually. That would be fun.
Yeah.
But I'm more so the anime expert comparatively, anyway. Like I said, we're both really big Disney fans, which is part of what we're talking about today. And what else would you say? What would you say is your specialty comparatively? In terms of like in comparison with each other.
I don't know.
Comic cartoons.
Probably, yeah.
You watch a lot more Marvel and DC shows than I do, or at least have lately.
Right.
But anyways, after that introduction, I believe we can start.
Our 5-minute introduction, almost.
Jeez. Anyways, today, like I said, we are going to talk about Disney, a particular Disney film, in fact.
Yeah, you may have heard of it. I don't know. It's not very commonly known.
Yeah, it's one of those more obscure ones, you know. It's one that kind of came out very recently.
Yeah, it went a bit under the radar.
Yeah, I don't really understand why, but it just nobody really knows about this movie. It's called Frozen,
Yeah.
and it won an Oscar. It has
2 Oscars, in fact.
yeah 2 Oscars. It won did it win one Golden Globe or two?
I forget, but like pretty much almost every time it was nominated for an award, it won the award.
It won at least one award in that award show.
Yeah.
More likely more than one.
Yeah.
I think it got like 6 or 7 Annies.
Yeah.
But yeah, Frozen has kind of been a big deal lately, and so we wanted to go talk about it.
Yeah, like, not adjusting for inflation, right now it's the highest grossing animated movie of all time. So,
And that is saying something.
yeah.
And I'm pretty sure, I haven't read it recently, but I'm pretty sure it's actually by now like the number 7 highest grossing animated movie, or highest grossing movie in general.
Yeah.
At
It
number
passed
7
movies like Return of the King and stuff like that.
This is freaking big. And we're gonna try and see if we can find out why.
Yeah, because, like, I like the movie, but I don't completely understand why it took this much.
It's kind of a big deal, and especially the main theme of the movie, the magnum opus song of Let It Go,
Yeah.
has just gone everywhere.
Would you say that's your favorite song in the movie?
It is probably my second favorite, actually.
Yeah.
I usually well, yeah, I'm not sure. It was a really good song. It was probably the best song in the lineup, but I don't know if I would say it's my favorite personally. If that makes sense.
Fair enough.
I really do like Do You Want to Build a Snowman and For the First Time in Forever.
Yeah.
By the way, this podcast will probably have a lot of spoilers for Frozen.
Oh yeah, so like if you're one of the 5 people who haven't seen the movie, you might not want to tune in past this point.
Yeah. Also, by the way, isn't it also... we just looked this up. It is not in theaters right now, but it is still in theaters globally.
Yeah.
It literally just finished being in theaters.
Yeah, and it's already been out on Blu-ray and DVD for over a month.
And it was still going in theaters afterwards.
Yeah, movies don't do that anymore for the most part.
Movies never do that. It's been what month did it come out?
November.
Exactly. It was out in theaters for almost half a year.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it was.
Just think about that.
Ooh.
The only movie that I can think of that is in theaters for longer, and albeit much, much longer, is Rocky Horror Picture Show, which I'm pretty sure holds the record for...
Yeah, because it's still in
running.
some theaters, but you know.
Well, with Rocky Horror Picture Show, it's a tradition.
Yeah.
With Frozen, it's just keep on going.
It's
chugging along.
It's a phenomenon.
And also, of course, they even released a sing-along version of the movie.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure in February.
Yeah. Yeah, I
They,
think that's right. Either January or February.
they released a sing-along version of the movie in theaters. So, like, seriously.
And just recently, uh, they made an album for like all the international versions of Let It Go. So it's like listening to the same song for several hours over 3 discs.
Which I just kind of think is a little bit over the top, guys.
Yeah. It's like, it's a good song. Good God, guys.
All right, I think that's a bit enough talk for in terms of like the phenomenon itself for now. Let's try and go like talk about the actual story.
Yeah, okay.
And now, like we said, there will probably be plenty of spoilers, so continue at your own risk.
Yes. This is the point of no return.
All right, do you think we should go like give a plot synopsis or just give our opinions on it?
Let's just give our opinions on it.
All right. Well, first of all, I actually did write an entire review, and also Rabbit did as well on both of our Tumblr blogs.
Mm-hmm.
Don't really use them very much, but we've both have pointed out our opinions, but we'll go reciprocate them here. First of all, I really like Anna.
Yeah, me too. And
Anna
even
is
though she's the main character of the movie, not many people really talk about her.
Yeah, not many people really talk about her, but to be honest, she's probably my favorite character.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Elsa, but I really liked Anna, and I really related to her, at least personally.
I kind of related both of them in, like, some aspects.
Yes, I agree. And I remember I can't remember which review, and I apologize for not citing whoever it was, but I remember in one review, they kind of pointed out the comparison between the two characters as if Elsa was kind of stuck in the teenage years, while Anna is kind of stuck in the pre-teenage years.
Yeah.
Anna is kind of like constantly a child, while Elsa is constantly a pubescent teenager.
And they're both adults.
But I mean, like in terms of like the metaphor of their situations, pretty much.
Right.
Elsa is much more she has to lead, she has to be an adult, but at the same time she has these powers that she doesn't understand and she can't really control, and bodily functions that you can't control and developing when you don't really want to. Sound like anything?
X-Men?
Well, yes, besides X-Men. But it's pretty similar in terms of how teenagers feel when they're going through puberty. And of course, Anna is the youngest. She doesn't really understand why her sister is shutting her out. She's a very playful and energetic personality. She really likes people. She really finds the world very interesting. Which
her character feels very genuine to me a lot of the time.
Yes. And also, she is probably more so, it makes sense considering she is the Disney princess of the movie, but she is very similar to the more regular Disney princesses in that she wants to get out, she wants more, and and of course, finding true love would be nice.
Although, speaking of that, I thought they did a good job at giving her like a more believable motivation. Like other than like wanting to like meet people outside and all that, she basically just wants to be in her sister's life again.
That is very true. I in particular, one of my favorite scenes with Anna is actually in the very beginning of the movie, right before, or, like when she wakes up, right before the coronation.
Oh
She
yeah,
kind of,
she's got bedhead.
yeah, and she kind of wakes up. She has bedhead. She's kind of all groggy. I found that really relatable, and I found that really sincere. And I
Yeah,
really liked those sequences with her that you can tell that she was uh, very human, I guess.
yeah. Because I remember what you said in your review, and I agree. Is that she acts just like an awkward teenage girl, basically.
Exactly, and which is also kind of why I'm surprised that not more people on the internet had really talk about her, because she seems much more like the person that would go on Tumblr
Yeah,
in my head, anyways. But she she's just wants to be known to her sister, kind of. You find she's very lonely, and so is Elsa. But at the same time, Elsa treats it in a different way.
uh, yeah. That like it's something that she has to do.
Like Elsa, I don't mean to go make it sound like I don't like Elsa. I love Elsa. She is a very well thought out character, especially with how little screen time she actually does have.
Yeah, she only has like half an hour or so of screen time when you really think about it, even though she like drives the entire plot forward.
And one thing that I always found interesting was the fact that originally she was a villain, and
Yeah.
because of that magnum opus, Let It Go, all of a sudden the writers went, crap, we need to make her into a good guy.
Yeah. The ironic thing is that Let It Go was still originally supposed to be a villain song. I mean, you can kind of tell with like the ominous way she shuts the door at the end and whatnot, but yeah.
It doesn't really work as a villain song.
Yeah.
It works much better as that sort of,
Coming out song, basically.
yeah. Which also I do find interesting that like quite a few people have referenced, and I'm sure have experienced a relation with Elsa and a kind of a connection with his homosexuality and coming out.
Yeah.
And I find that very interesting, especially in terms of Let It Go.
Yeah.
And although actually, I also kind of, this is a little bit of a sidetrack, but what do you think of the shipping circles?
Uh, the only one I have a problem with is whenever people try to ship Anna and Elsa, and I'm like, dude, they're sisters.
I actually kind of find those a little cute. In terms of the ones that I've seen, anyways, I think it'd be pretty cute.
Sometimes, yeah.
I find slash shipping a little annoying sometimes. So, I'm very on the Jack and Elsa from Rise of the Guardians.
Yeah, I get why they did it, and it's like the joke's only kind of funny the first few times.
but it's really popular for some reason.
Yeah.
Although honestly, I prefer the headcanon that Elsa is actually asexual.
Yeah.
I would find that very interesting.
One of my favorite ones that I've seen recently has like Elsa as Thor and Loki's mom.
That's funny. But, anyways, what about Hans?
Oh, Hans. Well,
This is where we get to the real spoiler territory.
he's a dick.
One thing I will say about Hans, I've actually heard a little bit of criticism in terms of him being used as a villain.
The way he's used as a villain is kind of bland, but it's more like he's a means to an end. Because, like, without him, you can't have the whole twist at the end happening.
Exactly. His whole point is to be that means to an end, and in an extent, that's kind of a sad thing.
Yeah.
I mean, he could deserve more of a character, and I remember a friend of mine. I won't say his name just go respect privacy, but he posted on Facebook actually an idea how he found Hans a little bit offensive because he found it kind of not that great of a lesson for boys, because as usually Frozen is very acclaimed for its lessons for girls that you don't have to go marry like in 3 days. It doesn't really happen. That's not really right. You have to go know a person first, and before you actually fall in love with them.
Yeah.
But this friend actually pointed out that it is actually a little bit offensive that Anna just kind of punched him, and that was it. Because yes, he was a dick, but do you really? But that kind of undermines guys in a way.
What do you mean by that?
I'm trying to remember the exact his exact points. If you are listening, I apologize if I'm just kind of ruining your whole.
Is it because he thought he deserved more than that? Because he kind of did, but...
No, it was more so the fact that because of the fact that he's just a one-note character, he wasn't a very good role model for boys. He because of the fact that you just punch him and he's just straight on bully dick. He doesn't really have much substance to him, and there really isn't much edge to be found from that on the boys' side, I guess.
I guess?
Like I said, ahead, I'm probably botching his argument completely. It was a while ago when he posted it. I apologize to that person.
I do kind of agree that, except for some of the main characters, like, Kristoff and Olaf, like, the male characters are kind of flat.
They are very flat. I remember also in an interview with Jennifer Lee, I think it was on the writing podcast.
Yeah.
She pointed out how she's pretty sure that the movie not only beats the Bechdel test, but almost doesn't beat the reverse Bechdel test. For those unfamiliar, the Bechdel test is it's a social health test in films where the film has to meet three forms of criteria, and it's based on a comic book. I can't remember the name of the comic book by Elizabeth Bechdel, I think. And I have a couple points to go make in terms of the Bechdel test, but I won't go into that right now. But just for your basic information, the Bechdel test is if you have more than one female character in the movie, main character, you have them speaking to another female character, and they do not talk about men.
Yeah.
At least one conversation where two female characters do not talk about men in the movie. And Frozen wins that, although technically it also almost didn't because of the fact that there wasn't really that much screen time between Elsa and Anna.
Yeah.
As much as people think. But they do actually win pretty damn well. And the reverse, obviously, would be the gender reversed. And I'm not sure but I'm pretty sure they do not actually win that at all.
What?
I'm pretty sure they only win that if you count Olaf as a guy.
Yeah. Well, Olaf is a guy. He's just not a human guy.
I'm pretty sure they barely get past the reverse Bechdel test. But regardless, it is a movie that well fits the whole. It's a pretty feminist movie, I guess.
Which, to be fair, the sole screenwriter is a female, and she's also the co-director of the movie, and most of the main characters are female, so...
Actually, no,
not most. Two of them.
Only two
but
of them.
they're the two central ones.
And, but also, at the same time, it's not perfect. The movie is not perfect.
Well, no movie is perfect.
And the movie isn't the perfect feminist film like some people think it is either. There are some points to be made in terms of how it isn't quite as much.
Yeah.
But it does a pretty damn good job, especially for Disney movies. It's a very good step in the right direction.
Yeah. Especially considering how much trouble it had.
Yeah. You want to talk about that now?
Yeah, why not? That's an interesting story.
Okay, you can go say it. I've been talking a bit too much.
Yeah, I've just been kind of nodding my head, going yeah.
Speak.
Yeah, it all started in all the way back when Walt was still alive, and he wanted to make a Snow Queen movie. Couldn't make the Snow Queen character relatable. Had to scrap it. Every decade or so, someone tried to revive it and run into the exact same problem. Eventually the director of Tarzan, Chris Buck, had a concept for it. Anna was pretty much in place. Still had a problem with the Snow Queen. Then I don't know, about only a year or two before the movie came out, they had the idea for them to be sisters. But even then, Elsa was still a bad guy to an extent. I mean, she'd be more sympathetic than she was before and redeem herself by the end, but still a bad guy. And it wasn't actually that all that long before the movie came out, before they came up with Let It Go, and they that was the first song to make it into the movie and change Elsa into a good guy, basically. Like, the final movie we have now was only made, like, maybe like a year and a half at the most.
Which is completely impressive, by the way.
Yeah, because, I mean, look at how good the animation is and stuff like that, and it could have turned out much worse than it did.
And that is, like, really unheard of a lot of the time. That movies... That most animated movies, at least as far as my understanding of them anyways, I may be completely wrong, we are neither of us are animators, even though we both really like cartoons.
Yeah.
Neither of us can draw for crap.
And I don't think we'd have enough patience for it anyway.
But as far as our understandings go, most Pixar movies, most 3D animated films take about 4 years to make.
4 years, maybe 3, but a year and a half? I mean, I'm sure there was a lot of work done before that, but, like, that wasn't the movie we all know now.
It's just amazing to think how much they managed to do in that little time. And actually, once I think about it, that might explain the terribleness of the advertisements beforehand, if you remember.
Because, like, all they had before was, like, showing Olaf and Sven and, like, a few comedy bits here or there. They didn't really have much by then, I don't think.
That's probably why. It was just so little.
Yeah, they're like, we don't have any clips to show. We'll make this thing show this.
Which, by the way, I would like to go talk about the advertising before the movie.
Yeah.
For a minute. Like we just implied, a lot of the really early commercials, and even like up to the movie, for the most part, a lot of the advertisements and hints were very centered on Olaf.
Which, to be fair, he's the most marketable out of all of them, but...
But it made a very different look to the movie, and it kind of had a very similar problem that Tangled did in its marketing. They kind of marketed it as a different movie than it really was.
Tangled was advertised as more like a DreamWorks movie. And Frozen was kind of advertised as a Tangled on Ice.
Exactly. And not only as a Tangled on Ice, but Olaf on Ice.
Yeah.
And I've had people I've known that people saying, like, before the movie actually came out, and just seeing trailers for it and thinking, oh, it's a movie about the snowman. And having no idea of what the actual movie is about.
It wasn't really until, like, after the movie came out and it got popular when Disney actually started making the trailers represent the film better.
Although I'm pretty sure a couple of the advertisements were completely spoilers.
Yeah.
Which they were very pretty, but it was still kind of spoilers.
And yeah, until like after the movie came out, they didn't even advertise it as a musical either, which I guess is fairly common these days. But
I think it exemplifies a greater problem in terms of animation in general these days, that especially Disney kind of doesn't trust their own formula anymore.
they want to make it seem like more gender neutral ever since Princess and the Frog, quote unquote, flopped, even though it was successful. But whatever.
It just ever since Princess and the even before Princess and the Frog, like since like I'm pretty sure for a way long time actually, the Disney movies haven't really been they weren't really doing very well comparatively to like the Disney Renaissance, and they kind of didn't trust. For one thing, they didn't trust 2D animated films anymore, which is why there's just getting fewer and farther in between.
Well, as far as I can tell, they're pretty much not doing them anymore.
Exactly.
They did Princess and the Frog and Winnie the Pooh. They both didn't do as well as they wanted them to. They're not doing them anymore, except for like shorts.
And that's really sad. I'm that really breaks my heart if they never make another 2D animated film. But and even like some movies that they were planning to be 2D animated, they shifted to become 3D.
Yeah, at least like with Frozen and Tangled and stuff like that.
Exactly.
It's 3D with a 2D influence, so it still looks Disney.
And I do appreciate that, though. I appreciate the fact that they have an influence of 2D animation, and it gives them a bit more of a different flow than something like Pixar, for example.
Yeah, like they have their own unique look to them.
Which we should probably talk about the controversy of that too.
Yeah.
I'll talk about that in a second. I just wanted to finish my thoughts here. Also, the thing is that what was I going to say? Sorry.
What were you gonna say?
But like the thing is that because of kind of the flops, quote unquote, of stuff like Egg Princess and the Frog, they're not as scared to. They're really terrified to make 2D animated movies, so they'll probably never make them anymore. And they don't want to really make princess movies as advertised anyways, because they just found people don't they for some reason think that people don't like princess movies anymore, and like you said, they want to be more gender neutral, and the popularity of stuff like DreamWorks and Pixar, and so they're just kind of lowering their boundaries in terms.
Though it seems like after Frozen came out, they eased up on that a little bit once they saw how popular it was, but
I'm hoping that it will have that kind of effect, that they will actually be able to advertise their movies as their own movies again.
Yeah. Because like, say what you will about Princess and the Frog, but they advertised it as a Disney movie.
But for Tangled, they did not.
Yeah.
Really. And at first, I really didn't want to see Tangled because of the advertising, because it just did not look. It did not look Disney. It did not look very good, and neither did a lot of the Frozen advertisements. Even after they did actually show scenes of the movie in the advertisements and like some of the later trailers, it looked more almost like a romantic comedy.
Yeah.
Rather than,
like I said, Tangled on Ice.
like, a lot of, like, at some points I just kind of found Anna a bit more annoying in the advertisements. She seemed more kind of like a Sandra Bullock character. But watching it in the film, it's absolutely wonderful, and like I said, she's my favorite character.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite princesses, Disney princesses, actually.
Yeah. Of only 13, counting both her and Elsa, which I'm a little surprised at, but...
Well, they kind of fudge around with the numbers here and there sometimes.
Yeah.
Like adding random female characters like Alice from Alice in Wonderland.
That was only for, like, Kingdom Hearts, though.
No, they have in some of the princess lines.
Oh, okay.
Some of the merchandising. I actually have a Disney princess tissue box with me right now.
Well, ain't that something?
It has Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, Rapunzel, Ariel, and Belle.
But, yeah, like I said, like, a month or so after the movie came out, the trailer suddenly started being like, oh, this movie has princesses, it has songs, take your kids.
And it actually started to do well, well, how well did it do in the beginning?
I think it did pretty well at the beginning from what I remember. It was number one.
I don't know if it did, like, as well as much as it did later. Like, later on, I'm pretty sure it got even better.
Yeah.
But, and like I said, we should probably talk about that one controversy in terms of designs.
The designs.
And don't take my tone as if I'm not taking them seriously. I can see where they're coming from here, but there was a lot of controversy. First of all, before the movie came out.
Yeah.
Because of a couple reasons. A, because of the fact that it was so different from the book, and at first glance of the plot, it does look a lot more misogynist compared to the actual book's original plot. Because the original whole Snow Queen was actually pretty feminist.
Yeah.
It was about basically a young girl that went on an adventure to save her twin brother, from the clutches of the evil Snow Queen. And there were quite a few other female characters throughout the book, as far as I recall reading a blog or two about it. But
the final movie, like, even in the credits it says only partially inspired by the Snow Queen or something like that, because really the only things remaining are, like, there's a Snow Queen, Elsa, there's a reindeer, and the whole theme of, like, the frozen heart and stuff like that. That's pretty much it.
Exactly. But either way, it was very early on, when just the plot of the movie was out, pretty much.
And even then, the plot synopsis they gave was still a little different, like Elsa intentionally cursing Anna and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, you can see, like, they still weren't quite there yet. And it was not all that long before the movie came out.
It's very amazing how quick these things can turn out. But, and it is, and I do remember her in terms of Pixar, that it does take 3 to 4 years to make those, but most of that time is, in fact, in the writing.
Yeah.
The writing is really that important. And it should. But anyways, The other controversy that was beforehand, before the movie came out, there was a controversy with one animator who I am not sure if it was in an article or in an interview. He was talking about the designs for Anna and Elsa,
Yeah.
and pretty dumb comment. He said that the reason why Anna and Elsa look so similar, and especially they look very similar to Rapunzel from Tangled, was because women are much harder. Women are much more similar and much harder to draw.
Mm-hmm.
Which is complete and utter bullcrap. Pardon my French, but it is pretty stupid to say that. But at the same time, I don't know if it really fits in this particular instance.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Sorry about that, folks. I guess we'll fix that in ending. But where was I?
Designs?
Oh yeah, designs. The fact that it had that the animator said it had how women are harder to draw than men, and
Was he a man?
yes, he was a man. But I just found that. But I mean, I think it's a bit more. I think the designs of the characters are a bit more for other reasons. First of all, because this is first of all because they're much easier to make dolls.
Yeah.
I
And
admit they're much easier to make dolls out of.
and when they were first released, people complained that especially Anna looked a lot like Rapunzel.
And that's what they were talking about.
Yeah.
And that's what the animator was talking about. Why is it that they look a lot like Rapunzel? Is because they're similar designs because women are harder to draw.
No, it's because they look just like animated Barbie dolls.
And not only that, but I think that the reason why, anyways, not Rapunzel, sorry, Anna and Elsa look similar would be because they're sisters.
Yeah.
And otherwise, they wouldn't have any features that are similar. If it weren't for their body type, something has to be. But also the other thing, the other art-related controversy was a character we actually didn't really talk about very much yet. Kristoff.
Yeah, we haven't really talked much about the other characters.
Yeah, we just kind of went on a segue there. But first, let me talk about the whole controversy with Kristoff.
Right.
Kristoff's character, his basic job and his design and such, he is very loosely based on the native Scandinavian culture. I forget the name of it right now. Do you mind if you look it up?
Scandinavian culture?
Yes.
We are so professional.
I know. But basically, there was a controversy over Frozen kind of whitewashing the characters.
Well, and Uh, they're like the Sami people, I think they're called.
Yes, Sammy. Yes. I apologize if we are butchering that pronunciation.
Sami, something like that.
We apologize.
I just know how it's spelled. I don't know how to pronounce it. And I don't really see how they're whitewashing when the Sami people are white.
They are white right now.
Yeah.
But at the time, the presumed time that they would be, they would have looked a bit much more browner.
Yeah. It takes place around the 1800s, but really that's just kind of be like, I don't know, it might take around this year, but they're putting into stuff like a bunch of other centuries, and like everyone talks more modern and stuff like that. It's not really in any specific time.
That's usually that's the point that I usually make, is that it's not really in a specific time. It is in a fantasial version.
Yeah, it's a fantasy. It's not in our world. Whatever.
I mean, I understand why it would be nice if he were a person of color.
Yeah.
Rather than all Aryan as he is.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't know if it is as. I'm just not sure if it was intentionally a whitewashing, I guess.
And an interesting thing about Kristoff's design is that it looks similar to a lot of the earlier designs for Flynn Rider from Tangle.
Yes, it does. By the way, I probably like Flynn more than Kristoff in terms of character personality, but
yeah.
Which I guess let's stop talking about the controversies so we don't end up getting like flogged on our first episode.
Yeah.
We're already like making enemies right now. We do not mean any harm to anybody who disagrees with us. You could, if you go ahead and disagree with us all you like, please tell us all your opinion. We would love to hear it. We are very open to discussion.
Yes.
We are just a couple of white guys. Tell us how it is. Go ahead. We mean no offense. But let's talk about Kristoff in terms of his actual character.
Yeah.
I like Kristoff.
Yeah, I like him. He's a very no nonsense type of guy.
He is.
And I like when he talks with his reindeer, because it reminds me of when I talk with my dog, which I'm sure was the intention, but
specifically to it was specifically for you, actually.
Yeah.
Yes, for you and your dog specifically. They knew that you were going to watch it, so they made sure to make it very similar to how you specifically talk to your dog.
Exactly.
And nobody else.
Exactly. You get it.
Exactly. Anyways, you're such professionals.
I know.
But we're going places.
Yeah. High five. Anyway.
We lost -5 viewers.
No.
We're now at -27.
God damn it.
Oh, now we're at -48. Anyways, so first off, is very no nonsense kind of guy. He's an ice picker. He's an ice collector and seller. I sell ice.
Yep.
That's what I do. What he does.
And he's on his love interest and stuff.
Yes. Which I think they did kind of do interestingly well. I do like the very finale, of course.
Yeah, because it's like they're not like full blown boyfriend and girlfriend yet. They're still kind of easing into it.
Yeah, exactly. I especially like specifically how he asks.
Yeah.
In such a polite way. That's both cute and a very nice lesson on consensualness.
Yeah. Basically, a lot of this movie is like, oh.
and also, but also, I do admit that I actually, personally, I don't really like the Fixer Upper song for a couple of reasons.
Yeah.
First of all, it's probably the weakest of the songs in the film.
Yeah.
But also, I understand it in context, but out of context, it's a little bit offensive.
Kind of, I guess.
I'm always bringing it back to controversy, man. But like, I don't really like the whole fixer-upper mentality. But I understand that it's supposed to be a joke. And that
it's more Avenue Q style.
Yeah. Which also, by the way...
Yeah, the writers of the songs also did the songs for Avenue Q and the fairly recent Winnie the Pooh movie.
Yes. And they also both got an Oscar, and they were very happy. And they're a very cute couple, by the way.
Yes.
Their own child that also helped with some of the lines.
Yep. And they're also the youngest people to have an EGOT, which is a Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Is that like one separate award that you get for having those other awards?
That's just the term.
But yes, congratulations to them. They did a very good job.
Yep. Very good.
And the other songs are very well done.
Yeah, very grand in Broadway style.
Yes, which is an interesting point, that how a lot of other Disney musicals don't have nearly as much of that sort of Broadway sound to them as much as these.
Sure, they're kind of Broadway styled, but like not quite as overt as this.
And especially in comparison with the last Disney princess musical, Tangled, it is very...
Tangled had barely any songs in it except for the song where she makes her hair glow all the time.
No, they do have other songs.
Yeah, I know they have other songs, just like not as many.
I think it's more so that it feels like it's not as many.
I guess.
Because they're not quite as... I will give a criticism that they're probably not nearly as good songs as they are in Frozen.
They're not bad songs, they're just not as memorable.
Yeah, exactly. They're good songs, but they're just kind of not very memorable.
Yeah.
They're the kinds of songs that you really enjoy when you listen to them, but you may forget about them like a month later.
Yeah.
And I recently watched Tangled, by the way, so...
Which is a shame, because the songs were done by Alan Menken, who did most of the Renaissance movies, but hey.
I did, in fact, recently see Tangled, so that's why I'm saying, like, there is actually more than that song.
Yeah, I know there's more than that song.
There's like 5 songs in it.
Yeah.
And that's as many as there are in Frozen, I'm pretty sure.
Frozen, there's like 10.
Is there 10?
Yeah.
Are you including
I think including the short reindeer song that Kristoff sings.
as well as the uh
Reprise?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm not counting the reprises. What I'm saying. There's like 5. So, but although, by the way, that is one thing that we usually mention is that Frozen has this weird thing where I'm not sure if it's common in other musicals. We should check, but it seems like there is only he like they're all a lot of their songs are in the beginning in the first act, and then there's barely any songs in the second act, and
There's no
in
songs in
the
the
third
third act at all, not even one at the end unless you count the credits.
and it's like it's interesting to see that like how they just kind of forget about the songs at the end.
Which, Jennifer Lee explained why there's so many songs in the first act, that there's so much exposition that they had to get out of the way in that act, that there had to be a lot of songs there just to get through it all quickly.
Which actually, the plot in the beginning was even more complicated.
Yeah.
Like at one point, they even had like a whole prophecy going on.
Basically, it goes like, there's this prophecy, and, it's pretty obvious that the one in the prophecy is Elsa. So,
Why have this prophecy in the first place? It was really useless and just kind of added fluff, so they took it out.
and kind of like, it's kind of a bit contrived, too.
Yeah, it's very generic.
Yeah. And like they even kind of made fun of that in like the song they use, and well, unused song, but to like explain the prophecy, like one of the kids was like, "What's a sworn sacrifice?"
They had very many cute songs in the beginning and in the middle and such, but
But I'm pretty sure like, except for one of them, they're all when Elsa was supposed to still be a bad guy, so they wouldn't work now.
yeah, that is also true. What else?
What else?
What else?
Ah!
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about Olaf.
We didn't talk about Olaf.
I guess we can talk about Olaf and then we can probably finish it.
He's funny, I like him.
That's it. Yeah. No. One thing is, like we said earlier, Olaf was really advertised in the beginning, as he would. He's the most marketable character.
Yeah.
But and that kind of did make a polarizing view of him that a lot of people probably was thinking, oh god, the sidekick and the talking sidekick, he's going to be so freaking annoying.
I was kind of like, I think it's cute. Like that
But,
little teaser short they had, and I was like, I thought it was cute.
But a lot of people found him really annoying just in that 5 seconds, and they were like, dreading seeing him in the movie. And a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people actually were pleasantly surprised and found him to be a much more. I like how the nostalgia critic put it, Doug Walker, how he put it, that he's a much more subdued version of that kind of humor. He's
most of these kinds of characters tend to like be as loud as possible, but he's very soft-spoken, and his humor kind of comes from that.
He's very curious. Oh, okay, but not kind of very. But like a lot of those types of characters can be very sarcastic or loud.
But, no, he's very genuine, which is a word I've been saying a lot.
Exactly, and even a lot of this, he isn't very used nearly as much. He isn't supposed to be annoying, as far as I could tell.
Like, when I go around and look, he's only in around, like, 12 minutes of the movie, and even then he doesn't come in until, like, halfway through.
And he doesn't, and even if you listen, he doesn't really say all that much.
Yeah.
He has like his own little funny scenes, and even a couple of his very heartfelt scenes. But he specifically doesn't like talk constantly or yell out.
He never quite steals the show. He's just there to make you laugh every once in a while.
He's there for comic relief,
yeah.
And he does his job well. And also, on the subject, like you said, and Christoph has Sven, which Sven is very interesting in how they did like deal with him and not being actually talking, but having Christoph talk for him, which was very creative. And also, once again, solved that problem of kind of subverting a lot of Disney tropes. And
I think they were originally going to have him talk, but they were like, well, we already have a talking snowman.
and also the factor that it does kind of make him less annoying.
Yeah.
Because it's a bit more creative when he talks, because he's not actually talking. And it's much more just Christoph being silly.
Yeah.
And probably very, very lonely.
Very lonely.
He lives alone with a moose.
Reindeer.
For some reason, I've been constantly calling them moose.
They look the same.
I should stop watching Supernatural. That's my excuse. Moose.
A room with a moose.
Wrong reference, but okay. But yeah. Both Olaf and Sven are kind of a bit more of a subversion of those tropes, and in general, the movie is very subversion of Disney tropes, right to the very end with the entire point of the film, with how it's not about romantic love being the true love, but it's sisterly love, family love.
Yeah. It leads you on to think it's romantic love, but then, they do a little twist!
And it's a wonderful twist.
Yeah, because, like, that's actually one thing you, don't see in movies very often. You see, like, brotherly relationships, even brother-sister relationships, but usually not relationships between just two sisters.
That is a good point. I never even thought about that, actually. That it is very uncommon to see specifically a sister-sister relationship.
Yeah. And even if there is, it's usually not the main focus of the movie.
Yeah. That is very true. That is also a good step in the right direction. Trying to think, is there anything else we should talk about specifically? I feel like there is, but I'm not sure what.
Should we talk about the Broadway show?
Oh yeah, I forgot to go mention that when you were talking about how the songs were very Broadway. Yeah, by the way, there's going to be a Broadway musical.
Yeah.
Already in production.
Same songwriters are going to work on it. That's good.
That is good. Like I said, this movie has really taken off, and I think partially some of the reasons why would be because obviously because of the very well done story as we've just discussed, but also I think it does have a lot to do with the internet.
Yeah. It was very internet popular.
And then it kind of spread out because of the internet.
Yeah.
And I will always nip myself in the bud for this. But when I first saw it, I said that it was really good, but it won't be as popular as Wreck-It Ralph.
Wreck-It Ralph actually was very internet popular. It just didn't catch on with the main public.
But Frozen, by God, they're Frozen.
Yeah.
They had like a whole Good Morning America, Let It Go sing along.
Fucking let it go, man. It's everywhere. It's on the radio.
Yeah, it's on the radio like 10 times a day or something, isn't it?
And not even like the pop cover version in the credits that would usually be used for the radio, but the version actually in the movie.
The real Idina Menzel version, which, by the way, Idina Menzel does a wonderful job as Elsa, and so does everybody else.
All those other actors.
I'm just I kind of just blanked on everybody else's names.
Kristen Bell as Anna, Jonathan Groff as Kristoff, and Josh Gad as Olaf, and I remember no one else.
Hans doesn't exist.
Hans does not exist. Oh yeah, Maurice LaMarche was the king.
Oh yeah, he was.
And Jennifer Lee was the queen, so yeah, there you
go. That's funny.
Yeah.
But yes, Jennifer Lee, you did a very good job, in our opinions anyways. Any final thoughts?
If you ain't seen the movie and you actually bothered listening to all this, go see the movie.
We didn't actually spoil quite as much as we probably thought we were.
Yeah.
So, go see it.
Go see it.
Now.
Let it go.
And so this is a conclusionary factor. This has been Cartoon Cast.
Yes, it has.
We're shorter now.
Yeah. Even though this is
as you can definitely see with how long has this podcast been?
So far this has been going on for an hour and 13 minutes.
Exactly. We're totally shorter.
You know it, bruh.
Hopefully we'll actually this time be able to make this more of a regular occurrence.
Hopefully.
That's my goal.
Hopefully.
If you enjoyed this, please go and do whatever it is, the voodoo that only you do. Share it with your friends. Comment. Discuss, please.
Give us 5 stars.
Like I said before, we are just two dumb guys talking about a Disney movie. Please. If we say something completely and utterly stupid, go on and point it out.
Other than all the other times we just said something stupid?
Yes, including those, actually.
Oh. Alright, cool. Yeah, alright.
That's my point. This is going to be, like I said, this is, in general, a cartoon-related podcast. We have we have plenty of ideas or topics, but if you have any particular topics you want to hear, go ahead and let us know. We both have Tumblrs, which are both our regular names. I'm sure we could probably link them on YouTube or something. We have Skype. We have what have you. Uh,
We have stuff, is basically what he's saying.
yes, we have stuff. Please share around. We want this to be a thing.
Yes. And even if you don't, we're gonna make it a thing anyway. Ha ha ha.
We are very desperate people, and we would like you to know that. You're begging.
I wanna know! Can you show me?
We are very terrible, stupid people. Please share us with the world.
Hallelujah!
Okay, take care, everybody. It's been Cartoon Cast. I am Mont.
And I'm Rabid.
I was just about to say that.
Well, fuck you then.
This is Rabid. And this is some sort of segue.
And, goodbye for real this time.
Yeah.
Alright, now that I'm done editing the video, I can go ask Adina those questions. Oh.